Gervonta Davis versus Vasyl Lomachenko could be on the cards next after Tank's demolition of Frank Martin on Saturday night. During the post-fight press conference, Tank expressed his confidence about taking on the big names at lightweight. Here's how he responded to a potential bout against Lomachenko.
Great fighters that you can take on next, including maybe Lomachenko. Interested in that fight? November,
for sure.
We talked about?
Yeah, for sure. As long as we go back to the drawing board and I won in the fight.
Many in the boxing world are excited to see this fight take place. Zab Judah recently shared his predictions for this fight.
Zab, Tank or Lomachenko?
I mean, I gotta go with the punching power. I gotta go with the punching power.
Tank versus Vasyl Lomachenko could be Tank's next big fight, but how close are we to this matchup? Is Lomachenko interested in this fight? Stick around to watch as we find out in today's video. As we just mentioned, a fight between Gervonta Davis and Vasyl Lomachenko looks likely after Tank's dominating performance against Frank Martin. The Ukrainian boxer sealed the IBF title after he defeated George Kambosos Jr. in Australia. This May Tank now appears to be in contention for the IBF belt after his successful defense of the WBA title against Martin. Lomachenko has wanted to fight Tank since moving up to the lightweight division in 2018. Unfortunately, Tank's management wasn't interested in pulling the trigger on it. Things are different now. Tank is free to take risky fights, and Saturday's fight against Frank Martin is just the beginning. In his post-fight interview, he confidently responded to a showdown with Lomachenko. The next Tank is now under pressure from fans to start fighting good opposition, and this fight makes sense for him. It's either this or fight WBC 135-pound champion Shakur Stevenson, and Arum isn't interested in making that match now due to the New Jersey native's recent disappointing performance against Edwin de los Santos. As for Lomachenko, she too seems confident about fighting Tanks. Davis had a look at his post-fight reaction after he knocked out Kambosos.
Called you out over social media, mate. Your response to that?
One more time, please.
Tank Davis.
Tank Davis called
Called out Loma on social media.
or he called Loma on social media. Well,
that's easy to do.
Lomachenko's promoter, Bob Arum, is keen to make this fight happen, and he recently sat down with Boxing News to talk about this fight.
Also, he brings a nation behind him. Obviously, the Ukrainian people are very much looking towards their fighters for some form of inspiration in what's very tough times for them back home at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think at this point...
Arum shared his views on a potential Davis versus Lomachenko fight, emphasizing that while Shakur Stevenson is extraordinarily talented, Davis would likely favor a fight with Lomachenko due to its greater economic potential. Arum pointed out that despite Stevenson's skill, his last performance wasn't entertaining enough to draw significant public interest compared to a Lomachenko fight, which also benefits from the support of the Ukrainian audience amidst their country's current hardships. Arum stated that negotiations for a Davis-Lomachenko fight have been ongoing, with both sides recognizing its potential profitability. These discussions are expected to resume after Davis's victory. He acknowledged the complexities of boxing promotions, but remained optimistic about reaching an agreement for a fight later in the year, possibly in November.
The suspension, which I think Ryan is going to get, is like 6 months.
Reflecting on other fighters, Arum mentioned potential matchups for Teofimo Lopez, including Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, highlighting the competitive nature of the 140 bits division. He also discussed the challenges of arranging fights for lesser-known but talented fighters like Shakur and Sabel Matias, noting that economic viability plays a crucial role in fight negotiations.
Shakur, at this time, particularly after Shakur's last performance, which, I mean, he won very easily.
Arum expressed his views on the necessity of competitive fights to maintain public interest, criticizing mismatches that don't engage fans. He also shared his thoughts on the international nature of boxing promotions, appreciating the similarities in boxing culture across different countries despite their unique cultural contexts. So it looks like both lightweight fighters from Top Rank have a potential fight lined up for the end of the year. Tank versus Lomachenko could be the next big fight for him, thus propelling him to a successful 2024. But let's look at some reactions to Tank's latest knockout of Frank Martin. Leonard Osterby, who is recently rumored to have parted ways with Mayweather Promotions, also shared his reaction.
You just saw it again.
You've been calling it all along.
Yeah, all along. Tank is the best fighter in the world. Tank's the best fighter in the world.
Orb expressed immense satisfaction with the Tank. Davis's victory began by celebrating the knockout, stating that Tank is the best fighter in the world and has proven it repeatedly. Herb emphasized Tank's patience, cerebral approach, and experience, which were pivotal in securing the win. He acknowledged the efforts of Frank Maron and his team, including Errol Spence, commending them for their preparation and respect despite Martin's not having an answer to Tank's game plan or being assured that Martin will eventually become a world champion regarding plans. Orby mentioned that Tank would take a rest before deciding his next steps. He reinforced that Tank has a list of opponents he wants to face and intends to continue his dominant path. When asked about potential fights with Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, Orby confidently stated that while all those fighters are good, none of them can match Tank's skills. Andy Ruiz Jr. also shared his reaction to Tank's victory. Andy Ruiz Jr. provided a detailed analysis of the Tank Davis vs. Frank Martin fight, emphasizing the exceptional performance and strategic execution displayed by Davis. Ruiz began by acknowledging both fighters' skills and preparation, noting that the bout was highly anticipated due to the reputations of Davis and Martin. He praised Davis for his patience and strategic approach, highlighting how Davis controlled the pace of the fight from the start. Ruiz pointed out that Davis's ability to remain calm under pressure was a significant factor in his victory. He mentioned that Davis's experience and ring intelligence allowed him to capitalize on Martin's mistakes, particularly in the later rounds. Ruiz emphasized that Davis's knockout power was evident throughout the fight, but it was his calculated timing and precise execution that ultimately led to the knockout in the 8th round. When discussing Frank Martin's performance, Ruiz acknowledged Martin's speed and agility, which posed a challenge for Davis in the early rounds. However, he noted that Martin's inexperience in high-stakes fights became apparent as the bout progressed. Ruiz mentioned that Martin's inability to adjust to Davis's evolving strategy was a critical weakness that Davis EXP exploited effectively. Ruiz also highlighted the importance of Davis's team in preparing him for the fight. He praised Davis's trainers for their strategic planning and ability to keep Davis focused and disciplined throughout the match. Ruiz mentioned that the game plan devised by Davis's team was executed flawlessly, allowing Davis to showcase his superior skills and ring the generalship. Reflecting on the implications of the fight, Ruiz stated that Davis's victory solidified his position as one of the top fighters in his weight class. He also mentioned that the win over Martin not only showcased Davis's knockout power, but also his ability to adapt and strategize against different opponents. Ruiz suggested that this performance would likely increase interest in potential future matchups between Davis and other top contenders in the division, such as Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Paulie Malaji also complimented Tank after his victory. Paulie TB gave a comprehensive analysis of Tank Davis's victory over Frank Martin. He began by acknowledging the significance of Davis's knockout win, emphasizing that it was one of the best performances he had seen from Davis, especially after a 14-month layoff. Malignayaji praised Davis for his strategic approach, noting that Davis's ability to mentally and physically dominate his opponents sets him apart. Malignayaji highlighted Davis's patience and cerebral tactics in the fight. He explained that while Davis's output wasn't high in the early rounds, his constant stalking and mental pressure wore Martin down. This psychological warfare, combined with Davis's reputation as a powerful puncher, forced Martin onto the back foot and into a state of panic even when he was landing good shots. Malignayaji draws parallels between Davis's approach and that of early career Adrian Broner, who also used mental pressure effectively. Malignayaji also noted Davis's fast twitch movements and quick, unpredictable punches, which caught Martin off guard. He described how Davis's throwaway right hook, followed by a short left uppercut, was a pivotal moment leading to the knockout. This combination of mental and physical pressure, along with Davis's tactical intelligence, proved too much for Martin to discuss the broader implications. Malachi expressed his desire to see Davis fight Shakur Stevenson next, viewing it as a prime matchup between two elite fighters. He criticized the idea of a Davis-Lomachenko fight, arguing that Lomachenko is past his prime and that the timing isn't right for such a bout to hold the same significance it might have earlier in their careers. Malachi acknowledged Davis's impressive resume, including victories over fighters like Pitbull Cruz and Jose Pedraza, which have added to his credibility. He emphasized that Davis' performance against Martin, a highly hyped and skilled opponent, showcased his ability to handle both mental and physical aspects of the fight at the highest level. Reflecting on the fight's aftermath, Malachi praised Davis's knockout technique and his ability to execute. Under pressure, he reiterated that Davis's blend of power strategy and mental toughness makes him a formidable opponent for anyone in the division. But what are your thoughts on tank fighting Lomachenko? Next, let us know in the comments. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for the latest notifications so that you never miss out on videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.